And now, live from Pod Cabin in Burbank, California, it's the Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend show. Tonight, Allison welcomes her guests. She's a writer, showrunner, and author of the t-shirt that Jerry O'Connell wore on Watch What Happens Live. It's Robin Shore. And he's a writer who Allison thinks has resting NPR face. It's Joel Stein. Tone Zone is here to show you how to be a beef donkey hunky. I'm her husband Daniel saying hop on board the love bus and say hello to your new best friend, Allison Rosen.
Allison Rosen. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison with her good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison Rosen, Allison's your new best friend.
Hello, my little beef donkeys. Welcome to another exciting Thursday episode. That particular carbohydrate was sent in on Patreon by Ray Morgan, and it is a reference to last week. We found out that Tony Thaxton's dad, his whole life, Tony's whole life, probably his dad's whole life, referred to French dip sandwiches as beef donkeys.
That's right.
And he only discovered later on that that is not something that everyone calls them, except I think now I certainly will be calling them that. And Ray Morgan submitted that on Patreon. And of course, it is the perfect submission.
Yeah, I'm glad it's catching on.
I am on Patreon, patreon.com/Allison Rosen. You can get episodes of my bonus podcast, The Friend Zone. I just put one up with Elizabeth Lame, who was my Monday guest a couple weeks ago, and I needed more Elizabeth Lame. So we answered your questions and it was great. There's a level where you can text me and I'll text you back. You can get outtakes. You can get extra photos that we didn't use. You can see why we didn't use them and such. And find out the stuff that's going on in my head. More than you just hear on the show. Do the annual subscription and get 2 months free. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen. Okay, I would like to say hello to my guest. This is a winning team. So winning that I had to reassemble us again. Robin Shore.
Hello. I just high-fived my team member.
I know. I love that is the kind of team spirit that makes me, as the coach of this team, self-elected coach of this team, like feel really good about what we're doing here.
Joel, I was slow on the high five. I felt like I never knew.
Okay.
It was like the first time anyone asked me to high five. I don't know why I was so slow on
the
that.
world's first high five just happened.
Didn't see it coming.
Joel Stein, hello.
So stressful, the high fiving.
I want to, you know what? I am going to get out my camera.
Mm-hmm. That's always good on the podcast.
Phone. Yeah, I know.
You're a
I'm
pro.
going to take a video of the high five. I want to give you guys an opportunity to do the high five again.
This is aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we just found out we're the winning team.
See, that was perfect.
Yeah, but the first time I looked at her hand like, what is she doing to me? I was very confused by the whole thing. I was from another culture for a minute.
Is it the pandemic that has really put a crimp in your high fives?
I felt like I saw pieces of COVID on her hand.
Okay.
And I was like, we're not supposed to be touching. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. But I'm happy we did it twice.
I'm going to just keep this hand aside for a bit.
Okay.
Until I get some gel to put on it.
Okay.
Are you a germaphobe?
No, I guess I was a little bit during COVID, but in general.
Didn't we all become germaphobes? I mean, remember with the wiping off? Yes.
Yeah, that was the main thing.
That pesky thing.
That old chestnut.
Tony Thaxton, hello.
Hello.
Where's the applause? Like everyone else got
Tony
applause.
Thaxton.
I'm the one hitting the button. That feels weird to hit it for myself.
Tony, do you have like a sad smattering of applause instead of a robust audience?
Do you have the one that builds slowly? That's my favorite.
Boy, a lot of requests.
Oh,
a lot of requests.
Like where it just starts that, and then and then the whole crowd eventually erupts because they're convinced.
I love starting audience clapping. It's like I do it all the time because, especially in a situation where someone's being very boring and no one's paying attention, I will just wait for a kind of inappropriate moment to start clapping, and other people will join because they don't know what's going on. It's my favorite thing to do. Not my favorite, but it's up there.
That's
I'm trying to think if I don't think I've ever done this.
I've started so much clapping in my life.
I know that I did go to see a stand-up comedy show, and I have something to say about that later, so I'll get into that more later. But I did notice that I was like really any mild laugh that I thought of having, I really like pushed it out. Like I really laughed enthusiastically and loudly. But that's not quite the same as what you're saying.
Mine's a little bitter and aggressive. Yeah.
Okay. So like can you think of any circumstances where
I've done it at my son's school for sure. When like the principal was talking and really boring, and then like no one's really paying attention, and I'll say like, and we, it was a great year for the whatever, and I'll be like, yeah, and people won't. They'll just join in.
Right.
And sometimes they won't. Sometimes I fail.
Okay.
Yeah, those are tough moments.
Now, when people won't join in, does it become your mission to change them?
No, that's a loss. I just take the L.
How does your wife feel about this?
I think it amuses her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Still, but barely. Probably not anymore. The more I
Right.
think about it. Yeah. It once amused her. How's that?
That is very honest.
Yeah. Of her.
But both.
I've sent you.
Yeah. Tony, did you find this matter? Did you find the insulting applause?
No, I don't think I have them on the soundboard ready to go.
Okay.
As we know, too many sounds. I can't navigate all
No,
these.
you can't possibly. All right, let's get to something now. Joel and his inability to hold up his end of the high five, which I didn't notice, but you drew attention to it.
I didn't notice it either.
But it's making me need to share something that happened when we were taking our photo beforehand. So we take a photo before the show. We all collect on the sad grass that is no longer as beautiful as it once was. And we put our arms around each other and we take way too many photos. And then Joel brought up that Keanu, and I was next to Joel and I had my arm around him. Now, making contact. And you brought up, you're like, what is it that Keanu Reeves does? And what he does is, I didn't know. He just like has the hover hand. His hand just hovers in front of someone. Now,
it's touching without touching.
Yeah.
Yes.
You look like you're touching. It
No,
appears to the
I think
camera
it
that you're
purposely
touching.
looks like it isn't touching, so he has proof. I think. I mean, I'm not saying he's thought this out. It seems very smooth. Like
right.
maybe this isn't a touching moment with strangers.
I cannot wait to look at pictures of Keanu
I know.
Reeves tonight.
Yeah.
Like, this is great. Because what's he afraid? Is he afraid of germs? Is he afraid of people thinking he's harassing them with weird touches?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you said that so confidently,
I
Joel. Do you
know.
know him?
I've never met Keanu Reeves.
Okay. But here's what I'm wondering. Now that you mentioned like you're a little shy about physical contact, did you bring it up? Because my arm was on you.
Well, it was on my penis. So let's be clear about what was going on.
The full arm.
Right. Is that why you brought it up?
I'm in general uncomfortable with human interactions, but especially touching. Yeah.
So that is why you brought it up. That was your...
Like, I won't go for a massage.
Have you ever?
I have, yeah. I've those situations like where I was like doing some travel writing or something, I had to get a massage.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what happened?
It was fine. I mean, but I wouldn't choose it.
Yeah. There are a lot of people that are like that,
Mhm.
that I know. That's not true. But I understand of which you speak. It's not true. You're a complete outsider.
Are you anti-hug? You must be.
Don't love the hug.
Interesting.
I remember when the hugs really started.
When? I don't
I
remember
remember
a time
the-
before hugs.
Oh my
Junior
God.
high?
No, early 90s. Men didn't used to hug
Mhm.
each other. I remember landing at the airport, my friend Ross picked me up, and Ross hugged me. And I was like, what just happened? When did men just greet each other with hugs?
But also, I'm very confused by men greeting each other with handshakes.
Yeah, because
And
that's
men
like...
don't greet me or any lady I know with a handshake. It's always men walk into
Yeah, I don't love the handshake either.
Yeah.
And I remember
Men greet me... Sorry, I'm cutting you off, but men do greet me with handshakes. What does that mean I'm giving off?
I don't know, but it's very rare that a man, like, it's, I even asked my brother-in-law about it. He's like, men don't do that. And then, like, the next thing he knew, he was sticking out his hand to shake somebody's. It's a very male thing.
I remember when Donald Trump was very anti-handshake. Remember, he was trying to bring back the bow because he's a germaphobe, famously. And the first time I met him, he proffered his hand.
The first time you met him, let's get
think-
into this.
And I was like, I've only talked like 3 times.
Okay.
And he offered his hand, and I was like, oh, whoa, I thought you were like, didn't want to catch diseases. Or, I thought you didn't shake hands.
Yeah.
And he's like, he literally said, what am I going to catch from you?
Oh my God.
Which was my favorite put down I've ever gotten.
Wow.
That's funny.
So good.
That's really good.
and
Were his
accurate.
hands tiny when you shook them?
Like the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Like shaking hands with water.
Yeah. That weird E. Cummings thing popped in my head. You know that she had tiny hands like the rain?
No.
I don't know that one either.
I'm going to be that guy, apparently. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry.
Mr. E.
You didn't mean
Cummings.
what? To make a poetic reference?
Yeah. I don't like
No,
that guy.
That's great.
It's okay.
All right.
I think it's okay.
We need more poetry in this
Okay.
world.
I was the Robert Frost guy recently.
Really? What'd you do? Was it the woods though? It can't be the woods.
No,
What did you
it
get?
was Mending Wall.
Oh, okay. That's all.
Yeah. Which, by the way,
It's
and
like-
I forget if I already shared that on this podcast, but you said you don't want to be that guy, and I'm like, let me make it 1,000 times worse.
You are, yeah.
Okay, so Mending Wall is the poem that has the
That's
line.
Good fences make good neighbors?
Yes,
All right.
which I had always. That's what I had always remembered. I don't know that I'd ever even read the whole poem. So good fences make good neighbors, and I thought that it actually was a defense. I mean, yeah, a defense of fences. No pun. But really, if you read the whole thing, it's kind of mocking is too strong, but it's
No.
questioning
Yes.
that pearl of wisdom.
Well, my mom's her email, the bottom of your email,
The signature.
signature, thank you, is to thine own self be true.
Oh, right.
Which in the same problem in the context of the
So-
monologue, it's mocking that.
Right.
It's-
So
yeah.
many of neither a borrower nor a lender be like so many of the Polonius things that have now turned into things that people say like wisdom were being mocked.
This is such a useful podcast.
I love
it really
It
is.
really, yeah, I like this.
Can
Can we only do this?
Sure.
Okay.
Wait, now this being what? Have like an English class
You
or
just bring up things that have been taken out of context
Yes.
and used in the opposite way in which they were intended.
Sure. One more question about Mending Wall. Was your understanding that it is about like borders and isolationism and things like that? Because when I was like reading about it and then I'm like, what? Wait, I need to know more. I encountered, I think Robert Frost said that people were like trying to destroy the poem by being too political about it or something.
Oh.
So maybe it's like I think it has like shades of that, but maybe it's not explicitly about that. I don't know.
Is that Cold War-y kind of? I don't remember.
Yeah, maybe.
I was so young when Robert Frost was around.
Joel, speaking of neighbors, though, and good fences,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Joel and I just discovered we're
Yeah.
neighbors.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
And we share a library.
Yep.
Thank you for bringing me back to this. So,
I've never seen you
turns-
there.
I've been there a lot.
Is that true? I've
I
been
like
there a fair
that
amount.
library.
I do too.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio donated a lot of money to it. So
Is
there's
that right?
there's if you look, there's Leo posters everywhere.
He doesn't like me.
Hillhurst and Franklin. Why doesn't he like you? Met him too?
he's met everyone. He had dinner with George Clooney.
Yeah. You've met everyone, but why doesn't he like you? Did you tell him you live where you live?
No, I didn't. I lived in New York at the time. I flew out here. I was very young, as was he. And I did a cover story for Time magazine when he was in the movie The Beach.
Yeah, 2000.
And he was very, and probably is still, very press reluctant.
Mm-hmm.
And so I met with him for a couple days at the Chateau Marmont, and they rented a room just for this purpose. And we weren't doing anything because he wouldn't. Every idea I had of something we could do, he wouldn't do, and he wouldn't reveal anything. So it was kind of difficult and tedious. And he was upfront about it, and he said, "The more I reveal about myself, the fewer of those things I can pull out when I do characters of myself. So revealing yourself is really antithetical to the process of acting." And he explained it very well, and it was very interesting. But meanwhile, we were just like watching TV because there was nothing to do.
Like what kind of? Do you remember what you watched?
The only thing I remember is flipping through channels because it was obviously long before streamers, and we ran across What's Eating Gilbert Grape,
a
and he
movie
did his
was in.
character, and that was
Oh,
pretty cool.
boy.
Yeah, but eventually, like he went to the bathroom and his wallet was out, and I saw there was a Ralph's Club card, and I was
That
like,
is so funny.
and remember, this is before like Twitter and everyone
Yeah.
knew so much about celebrities. And I was like, wow, why would he have a Ralph's Club card? Like that doesn't make like a supermarket discount card. So he came back and I'm like, I saw your Ralph's Club card. He's like, you get great deals, dog, with the Ralph's Club card, right?
Oh, that's incredible.
And so I was like, how about we go to Ralph's? And I will
Right.
pay for everything, supermarket sweep style.
yeah.
Like I'll just expense everything.
Amazing.
So he called his friend Ethan Dupree and we all
Sure.
went.
Wait, who's Ethan Dupree?
He's an actor.
The owner of Ralph's?
Is it
No,
Ethan?
that's
Are you
Ralph.
thinking of Ethan Suplee?
I am thinking of Ethan
Yeah.
Suplee.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew what you meant though
Thank
with the
you.
EE at the end.
Yeah.
It's because
Yeah.
you're neighbors. You have a common language.
Yeah, yep. It's written in the stars at night.
So he eventually, we went to the supermarket, came back, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna write. Like, we got nothing. And he's like, well, I'm really into environmentalism. I'd be willing to show you my diaries from the side of the beach and tell you about what I'm really concerned about. And I'm like, that would be great. He's like, thank you so much. I hate these interviews, but now I feel like I'm part of the process, so I'm less scared. It's like, great. So I go back and I write a cover story largely about his environmentalism. And my editor, Walter Isaacson, was like, we didn't send like the young kid out to Hollywood to interview the hot star to write about environmentalism. Try again. So then I was like, I have this Ralph's thing and a receipt from Ralph's, and he's like, go. So I was like, okay, I can mock all the Us magazine stories and pretend I'm learning about him through his purchases at Ralph's, kind of mock the whole thing. So I wrote that, and he felt really betrayed because we had agreed to write about environmentalism. Instead, I wrote kind of what he feared.
And how did you find out he felt betrayed?
Oh, I found out many times since then. But the first time I found out was I got a call from his publicist saying how great the story was. And then I got another call a couple hours later from his publicist saying the opposite.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
But I also know that like people I know who've been at dinners with him were, they mentioned like Time Magazine. And then he went off on me.
Oh, wow.
And they had to be like, I don't really know that guy that well. But, you know. And I was in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
My wife and son sometimes like to go to an open house. So we walked in an open house on our block.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't notice him, which is weird because there was like no one there besides us. But DiCaprio was there.
Yeah.
And I guess he was going to buy it for his mom or something. And my wife was like, at some point was like, took me aside. She's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, that's Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm like, I didn't see him. So I just took off.
Do you wish that you had a chance to explain to him though?
I don't imagine that would do a lot of good. I may have. Yeah. I mean, I feel bad.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess I'm just wondering, and maybe it wouldn't do any good, but it's one thing if he thought that you had promised one thing and then went back and betrayed him yourself versus like you tried to do this and your editor pushed you in a certain direction.
I'm looking at Walter Isaacson.
Yeah, if there's a villain in the story.
Yeah. And it's him.
Yeah.
And I think we have to remember, I want to say The Beach was made in 2000. And I only know that because I backpack across Europe in 98 and we all passed that book around. And it was such a good book and maybe not the best movie, but he was the biggest star in the world at that point.
He was.
He still is. But he was such a huge star. And so maybe he just was on his heels about a lot of different things at that point. And maybe it had warped his brain to the point where he felt betrayed, but he shouldn't have really been. He didn't maybe know the game as well as he does now.
Well, it sounds like he hated the game.
Yeah.
So he was.
And now he hates the player.
Oh.
Yeah. What, did he buy anything fun?
Yeah.
We can look it up online. I don't remember. But I annotated it all. My premise was that he was very Hamlet-y and that he couldn't make a decision like about whether to talk to me or whether to do this interview,
right?
What to buy at Ralph's. So I think that was the premise of his decisions. But I don't remember. It was normal stuff.
Right. To shop or not to shop.
Yeah. Normal 2000 Ralph's purchases.
Well, if you go to our library.
I can't now. Now you've ruined it. I can't go there.
Apparently he's donated a lot of money to it.
How did you not see the big posters of your nemesis?
I must
everywhere.
Be new.
No.
Is it like the Leonardo DiCaprio wing?
Kind of. No, it's like towards the back. Like there's like 6 posters.
You're making it sound like Kim Jong-un. Like there's just like.
He's a big supporter of that library. He really is.
How much do you think I'd have to give to the library to get them all down?
Oh, God, that's such a good question. $1 million.
$1 million?
Yeah,
I feel like even more than $1 million.
Can we raise that on Patreon right now?
Yes.
Just as your response to him not liking your article.
Yeah. I have a lot of questions here. Now, you said that he felt that the more he revealed, it was the less he could pull out when doing characters. Is that how you put it? What does that mean?
I think it means like if I told a story about, something that happened to him where he was showed some like anger or something, then when he did that, it makes sense to me. I'm not an actor, so I'm having trouble explaining it, but I think you do pull out your own personality and your experiences. And every time you do a role or an interview, you show a little bit more. It's the reason, when casting a show, there's something really amazing about putting someone in there who no one's ever seen before, because they don't know what to expect, and that he's just that character, or she's just right. Whereas, the more times you see someone,
the more you're bringing a conception of who they are to it.
Yes,
that makes sense.
That's maybe a better way to put it.
So, if like if someone knew of some sad story from his childhood, then if he cries on screen, they're going to be like, oh, he's thinking about his dog.
They're just bringing that to it, right?
Yeah.
Like every time you see, I mean, he's overcome this, but for a while, every time you saw like Henry Winkler, all you could think about was the Fonz, right? Even
Yeah.
if he was doing a nebbishy Jewish character, like he lost.
Yeah. And you're right in this age of Twitter and Instagram. And I'm always amazed because when I was growing up, if I could have written letters to Jason Bateman and Ricky Schroeder,
Oh my God, Jason
you know what I
Bateman.
mean? Not R.I.P. Ricky Schroeder, but like he's
No, he's still here, but
Okay.
he's not who you want
He's
to
dead
be.
to the liberals?
He's back.
Yes.
Okay.
He bailed Kyle Rittenhouse out of jail.
Literally?
Literally.
With his own
didn't-
cash?
Yeah.
You didn't know that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I learned
He's
so
a
much here.
supporter, yeah.
But like, and all these shows that I watched, I just had such reverence for the actors and I wanted to do what they were doing. And then to think, and I didn't write letters, I didn't write physical letters, but to think like you could go on Twitter and just tweet at your favorite TV stars now is still crazy to me.
It's very. it's
So
very
I
crazy.
understand where he's coming from, but he also, I think it's a give or take. He needed to maybe loosen up a bit. It's the cover of Time magazine.
Yeah. But again, I think in this story, I'm the bad guy. I think but other
You were
than
doing
Walter.
your job. You were
Yeah.
doing your job.
That's
I-
tough.
Like
I
all
should've-
the Nazis in Nuremberg. You were
Exactly.
doing
I was
your
just like,
job.
man. But I
He's
think
just taking orders.
if I could do it over again, I would have, especially knowing that he was excited to be included in the process. I should have, in between those two drafts,
him.
I should have, but he seemed unreachable, even though I spent time with him. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't seem like I could just call.
Now, when
his
his
publicist.
publicist called back
Yeah.
with a different
No
version,
shame. No
was
shame.
was his publicist presenting it like it was the publicist's opinion, or was it like I spoke with Leo and here's how he feels? I call him Leo, I guess.
To be honest, I think the second call was to Walter and not to me.
Oh, okay.
So he didn't have to make the call where he
Yeah.
acted totally differently the second time.
It's insane.
Well, I evidently angered Bam Margera.
Oh, that's weird.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
So I was interviewing him for Stuff magazine or something.
Yeah.
And so these are kind of the same stories, basically. And it's a Q&A, and their questions are very irreverent. And there was a question that they wanted me to ask, which was like, does he... Okay, I wasn't a huge watcher of...
Jackass.
That's the one. I forgot for a second.
yeah.
Is his dad or his uncle very overweight?
Both.
Okay, so it was a question about that. And he was very offended by that, I guess.
My
Which
jaw
was
is
pretty
dropped.
I know. I was
Literally.
very surprised by that. But I always wanted to be like, and maybe this is why I'm like wondering if you had a chance to talk, but anytime anything like that happened and they were reacting to something that had happened in editing, and I wanted to be like, but that wasn't my question.
Right.
But also it's Stuff magazine.
And also, if I remember
Maxim's
correctly,
little sister brother.
wasn't he constantly making fun of them on Jackass? Like constantly having his father or whoever those guys
He's
were.
playing pranks on them.
Phil,
Yeah.
right? That's who it
Yeah,
is?
I'm trying to remember if he would really make fun of them. Like he definitely fucked with them a lot.
I guess
but
that's
don't
what
know
I
if
mean.
he-
It felt like he was teasing them
Yeah.
in some way. So for
Right.
him to have an issue with what you were saying seems insane to me.
I know.
The,
Okay,
the point
yes.
is, you're a fat shamer. That's what I'm walking away from that story.
Yeah, I know. And they made me be one. I'm not.
Do you
I think
he's now like on Ozempic and he's like crapping his pants all
He's
because
not
of you?
doing great
Uncle-
right
Uncle
now.
Phil or
No,
Bam?
Bam.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Ozempic.
Uncle
Sorry.
Phil's a different guy. So.
Is Bam's not okay?
Bam's. I don't think Bam's
Yeah, I don't-
doing
yeah, I
great
don't think
right
so.
now.
Yeah, because they
Because
didn't
of that?
even.
Because
let
of-
him be
well,
in the
it's
new
not
movie.
because of that.
Yeah.
Right. You did it, Allison.
Like, is he addicted to drugs?
I think
or-
he's just been kicked out of many rehabs. I feel like anytime I
yeah.
open page 6 and I'm not reading about this
Vanderpump.
podcast.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
Were you on
I'm
page
reading
6?
about
Yes.
Bam Margera. Yes.
Wait, I need to
Page-
know.
Well, this goes back to the Vanderpump stuff we were talking about before. So, as Robin was explaining to you before the show, when you had an out-of-body experience and wanted to be anywhere else but here, we had Peter on. And
Peter
he's-
Madrigal, who
Right.
you don't know.
He said
He's the
some
manager
things.
of Sir, the sexy, unique restaurant on Robertson.
Yeah, so it got picked up in, what was the first one? Perez picked it up first.
Oh, I didn't
so
know
it was,
that.
yeah, Perez.
Wow.
Perez Hilton.
That's the one.
That's still happening.
Perez. Yeah, I know. Yahoo, ET Canada.
Yahoo's still happening. You're naming things that haven't existed in 20 years.
Lycos, Alta Vista, Ask Jeeves. No, what were the other ones?
Us magazine? Did you say that
I think
already?
it was Us.
I got that one from I got that
Page
text
6.
from a lot of people from Us Magazine.
Yeah.
So you broke some news that they.
Yes.
What was the news?
The news was that he.
Al Madrigal?
No, I love Al Madrigal.
Al Madrigal.
Who was it
Peter
again?
Peter Madrigal.
That's Al's brother?
Yes.
Okay.
Peter
Peter
Madrigal.
wishes.
It was some things that he said, which is that he had noticed a weird closeness between the two people that it turned out were having an affair, and then he had been on a date with the girl who's like at the center of the other woman.
Okay.
And she said some things about him on Watch What Happens Live that he was upset about. So he said that she can go fuck herself. And
If you can explain all sex scandals in terms of Elizabeth Taylor and Debbie Reynolds, I'll follow it much better.
Have you read Furious Love about Elizabeth Taylor and the Richard, what's his name?
Burton?
Richard Burton. It's a great book about their crazy marriage and love affair and the ins and outs. It's called Furious Love if you're interested in it. It's one of my
gotta
favorite
check it out.
books.
I did have a dinner with Elizabeth Taylor and a bunch of other people once.
I mean,
No, I didn't. That's a lie.
Oh, but you can't. It sounded so
That's a lie.
convincing.
Well, because it was Debbie Reynolds.
Oh, that's still really good.
Yeah.
She's incredible.
I've been in Connie Stevens' house.
Wow.
Tell us.
So I don't want to brag,
You just did.
but I was an extra.
Background actor. You can't say
Wait, there's
extra
another phrase.
anymore.
There's-
You cannot say extra.
There's another.
You can't?
I
No.
got in trouble
no.
for it. Yes.
But it's not even background actor. There's another
background
phrase.
performer.
No.
Atmosphere?
I feel like I know what you're talking
Is it
about.
atmosphere? Because I think
Yes, it is atmosphere.
that feels way more
Worse.
insulting than
Wait,
any of these.
worse. Yes.
I was atmosphere
Right.
in Postcards from the Edge.
Oh,
Were you really?
incredible.
That's good.
Life
Yes.
goes on too, right?
Yes,
That's
that was
the one I
around
knew
the same
about.
time. Life
Okay.
Goes On, Postcards from the Edge. I had a robust career as atmosphere. I was really hoping to like become a tree at some point. But anyway, the scene where she crashes her car, if you'll note, they go by a group of people and there's a girl wearing white jeans with black polka dots from Guess. Yes. I had a matching jean jacket.
Yes.
But wardrobe didn't choose that.
No.
And I wore the whole I looked like a Holstein, I don't know, like a
Cool
white
as
and
fuck.
black outfit with like a neon pink shirt. They instead chose I had an oversized denim chambray
Ooh.
blouse with big black stars on it. I would have never thought to put them together. I mean, outside the box thinking. But anyway, I'm just on the corner there. But yeah, so we were filming it at Connie Stevens' house.
Wow. And you know, the Debbie Reynolds Dance Academy is not far from this pod cabin where we're sitting. She opened a dance studio like sometime in the 50s and it's still around.
Oh.
You look perplexed by why it would be Connie Stevens' house.
Is she in the movie?
No, but she's related to
Yeah.
to Carrie Fisher. And I forget how exactly.
Connie Stevens is the mother of Jolie Fisher.
Yes.
And Connie Stevens and
Oh.
Elizabeth Taylor left Connie Stevens for Elizabeth Taylor.
Some of those words weren't right.
Wait,
Try
sorry.
again.
Elizabeth
But I like
Taylor
what you
left
said.
Richard Burton for Joey Fisher.
Eddie
Is that-
Fisher.
Eddie Fisher.
Eddie Fisher.
Is Connie
but it was a short-lived
Fisher's
marriage.
dad,
But
right?
it was such a victory for the Jews.
Yes, it was. But also was Mike Todd, her first husband. He felt like a Jew. Elizabeth Taylor's.
James Stacy was Connie Stevens' first husband.
And
Wait,
then
But why would they shoot at her house? I just don't
Yeah,
know.
that-
Well,
that is
Carrie
weird.
Fisher
Making it
wrote
sound like
Carrie. I don't know,
Yeah.
but there were scenes that were shot in her house.
Huh.
But Carrie Fisher, you probably know this. Carrie Fisher wrote Postcards from the Edge, the book that the
Yes,
movie
of
was
course.
based on. Yes. So,
But lots of people write movies and they don't use their friends' houses to shoot them in.
well, they're her relative. I don't know.
it was directed by Mike Nichols, so maybe
Yes,
he was
he was there.
Yes.
Oh my!
So maybe he was just like, let's use Connie's house.
Do you tell people you were directed by Mike Nichols?
I never have before, but I
You
will start
should.
immediately.
Immediately. That's huge.
Okay.
When I was in the Mike Nichols film,
Yes, you
Yeah.
might have seen me in. Wait, I had things to say. Oh yes, okay. So going, and maybe we'll get to Vanderpump later. So don't worry. Even though I have heard from a fair number of my
Oh
listeners,
no.
please no more Vanderpump. But to them I say, but we have new listeners who are into the Vanderpumpness. So don't worry, it's not going to take over the show. It's just going to be a house guest.
The air horn still doesn't work. You told me to play it last week
Oh, yeah.
to get you to stop
Right,
talking
because
about
I have
it.
I have a new segment called V90X,
Yes.
where I talk about Vanderpump for 90 seconds.
Yes.
And I told him to play the air horn at the end.
And then
it
she continued for about 5 minutes.
Yeah. But with you, Robin, V90X is only for people who don't watch.
Right.
Right, okay. But anyway, you guys are neighbors.
Yes.
There's a section of this town you live in, be very vague, that you referred to as the showrunner district.
Yes.
And Joel said they won't let him run a show. And I just want to know more.
So we live in the wrong parts of our own neighborhood.
Yeah, we should switch. Although, I mean, you're saying they'll never let you run a show. And
Right.
I don't know if I'll ever run a show again.
But they also, you've run shows. So
I've run one show. I've run one show officially, but then helped with others. And
okay.
It's enough
I
to
have
live in
one.
that district.
I have one right now, but we don't know if it'll ever see the light of day. We'll see.
Oh, it's been.
No, it's not been shot yet,
Okay.
but we'll see.
But
so
it's
they
been in
keep
deadline.
calling me a showrunner in the press.
Oh.
But it's empty if you're not actually running.
No. You can be a
think
novelist
so.
if you're not currently like.
Right.
I was
novel.
directed by Mike Nichols.
Yeah.
And it's not happening right now.
Yeah.
No, you're a showrunner. You should be in the showrunner district. I'll talk
I'm
to them.
not in the show. I know it's very vaunted to me, that area. I made a few offers on houses
Oh.
up there, didn't get them
Because
Because they
because
said-
at that time I wasn't a showrunner. it was pre showrunning.
a lot of my neighbors are not showrunners.
You'll be surprised though. Now that you know it, you'll be more attuned.
I had a
to
neighbor
it.
who was a showrunner, but he left and
Oh.
he gave it to an actress.
Yeah, well, that's
That
the
counts too.
what?
No. Oh, that's when a neighborhood shifts.
No, that's a common up there in that district.
Okay.
It shifts from actress to showrunner.
Yeah.
He
It's a
gave it to
common
her
swap.
or he sold it
No,
to her?
there was a cash exchange.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was transactional.
It was.
It wasn't just
Yeah.
to be kind. So wait, why won't they let you run shows, Joel?
Oh, I just don't have much experience in a room. I've been staffed on 2 shows.
What were the shows?
Oh, I don't think you saw them.
I know every TV show.
The first one was a Marco Panett show called Crumbs.
I love Marco Pernette. Was that the one with Fred Savage?
It was. Oh my God, you were good.
And Jane Curtin.
You were amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
This is fun.
Yeah,
This is like
Crumbs.
Yeah.
I want to say Crumbs was like 03, 04. 05 maybe.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
That is perfect.
Yeah, I worked with Marco on a old show called Samantha Who.
Samantha Who?
Samantha Who?
I
What's her
remember that.
last name?
Wait, can I guess who starred in Samantha Who?
Yes.
I think I know. I think.
That's the
Or wait.
who in the question mark. Who starred in Samantha Who?
Wait, what
you
year
want a
was?
hint?
What year?
I feel like I have it in my head.
I
'cause
believe
I thought
the
I knew, and then
sh-
I think I'm wrong now.
the
though.
show must have premiered in 07 because it was kind of destroyed by the 07 strike. So 07, but then 08 and 09, I think it ran.
Do you want to go, or do you want me to go?
I
I'm not.
can give
I
you a
thought I
hint.
was confident. I don't know if I'm confident.
I lost my confidence. It's not Nikki.
Whelan?
No, Nikki, who was married to Bobcat Goldthwait.
Cox.
before-
Nikki
yeah.
Cox. No. It was a show starring not only Christina Applegate
That's what-
that actually was what I was
looking for.
as Samantha Who, but as her mother, and she won an Emmy for the show, Jean Smart.
Oh wow.
So
This did not
everybody's-
have Will Arnett in it. That was a
No.
different one. Okay.
What was
No.
the premise of Samantha Who?
Who? She in the pilot is a terrible.
guess?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone go around. You start.
Okay. Jean Smart was I'm just building off of what you were
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
But Jean Smart was a terrible mother,
Okay.
and Samantha Who is I don't even know which one. No, Christina Applegate is Samantha Who.
Yes.
And she is like a type A, high-powered something or other.
Don't give anything away. We're
And
all
her
gonna go around.
mother, I won't look at you right
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
And her mother shows up needing something or other, and she does not want to interrupt her busy type A businesswoman life where she like walks down the hall and people hand her papers and coffee and stuff to deal with her mother and all that baggage.
So, and
No,
do
you
you want to
can't. You
guess?
can't respond. Well,
Yeah.
would you go next?
And then you've apparently seen the show.
Oh, you
No,
have?
I haven't. No,
Okay.
I have
I
not
just
either.
remember. I remember seeing ads for it.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, Samantha Who? I'm guessing it's must be a Dr. Seuss thing.
That's good.
That's a good guess, Tony.
That's good.
You know, I don't know. My real guess would just be I don't know. She was she moved back to her hometown, but she was like not popular in high school or something. And everything.
Oh,
so
that's
she's
good.
Samantha Who?
Interesting.
Mm.
Joel Stein.
Christina Applegate
Mhm.
plays a high-powered attorney,
Mm-hmm.
much like in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
She is struck with amnesia,
Mm-hmm.
and her mom moves in to help her because she can't remember anything. And the more she learns about who she was, the more she realizes it's not who she is.
Oh, that's so good. I don't think that's what it's about, but that is good.
Will you
I
buy
would
this?
watch that
You'll buy
one.
this? Okay.
Yeah, I will.
Do you want me to reveal the
Yeah,
answer?
please.
Joel Stein for the win.
No,
For most
no.
of the win.
There's
for
amnesia
most
involved?
Of the win. Yes.
There's
Oh my
amnesia
God.
involved.
No.
Oh.
So in the pilot, I actually cannot remember what the character did for a living, but in the pilot, she is hit by a car. And she has brain damage or something. And she
funny.
has some sort of amnesia, but realizes that before she was hit by a car, she was a terrible person.
Oh, this is like Good Place kind
And
of.
then,
A very good
and then
place.
she sets out on a course of trying to right all of her wrongs.
Or My Name is
And-
Earl.
Yes, it was very much in that vein, and also pre-bridesmaid Melissa McCarthy played her best friend along with Jennifer Esposito, and they would often
What?
appear over her shoulder as Angel and
Oof,
Devil.
bad choice.
Okay,
Bad
because
choice.
in my mind, when I see Samantha Who, I'm seeing like
There's a
a
devil.
devil. Yes, like a
in the
devil
question
thing.
mark.
Is
Yes.
Melissa McCarthy
That's
the devil?
exactly.
No,
She's the
Jennifer
angel.
Esposito is the
Oh,
devil.
good choice.
And
Good choice.
Melissa
I got
McCarthy
it.
was the
Either one
evil.
could have played the devil.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was picturing. So
Yeah.
at least I have a memory for punctuation.
Okay.
Yes.
Why would Marco pitch this? Like, what in his life brought him to this?
No, Marco didn't make
Oh,
Samantha Who.
okay.
I worked with Marco on Samantha Who, and the very first day I was there, it was at that point the biggest show I had been on in my career and my nascent career. And I threw out a pitch,
Let's hear it.
and I don't even remember,
Come
but
on.
Marco said, it's her first day. It wasn't the best pitch, but it wasn't the worst pitch. Everybody clap. And I went, oh my God.
He's rough. He can be rough.
Wait, so what was the other
Yes.
show you staffed on?
Now, once again,
And
you say
do-
the name, and then
Do you
Robin
think I'm
will
not
tell
going to
you
know it? This
what
is,
it is.
so exciting.
I think you're not going to know it.
Oh.
And you
Come
can all
on,
guess.
did you not just see what we saw?
It's-
She will know it.
It's called
She's-
American Princess.
Yes, run by Jamie Dembo.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Created and run by Jamie Dembo about her
Fantastic.
time as
Fantastic.
a Renaissance fair. Yes.
Oh,
So you worked
yeah.
with my friend Julia
yeah, because John Ross
Wolof.
Bowie.
And Dana Van
yeah.
Goodman.
Dana, the best. They're very old girlfriends of mine.
Wait,
Oh.
when was that show?
Not that long ago. I want to say 2017 into 18.
amazing.
Okay, because we had.
Can we play this game with you and I just name like
Yes.
shows that like Flo's Yellow Rose?
Don't know it. Is that a William Faulkner book?
No, these are going to be TV shows.
TV
Oh.
Flo's Yellow Rose. I don't know.
no, you. This not. It doesn't. It's not real.
No, it's real.
Oh, it is. Oh, I misunderstood. Okay.
I may have the wrong title.
I
now
feel
that
like you
realize
do.
it.
I feel like
I have
that's
the wrong
sort of
title.
central
Okay.
What's it
to the
about?
game.
What's it about?
Yeah.
I think it was an Alice spinoff starring Flo. She owned her own. It may have just been called Flo, though.
Who had the catchphrase
Kiss
"Kiss
my
my
grits."
grits"?
But,
Incredible.
but if I name a show, there's a good chance you can like tell me what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just called Flow, by the way.
Oh,
that was my
incredible.
fault. That was my fault.
Crumbs. I'm really proud of that one. I'm proud that I got that one.
Yeah.
American Princess was relatively recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. So let's all try and think of
Dear
obscure-
Sydney.
Nice.
Oh.
I know that. I
Do
can
you
do. I can do
mean-
Dear Sydney.
Do you mean Love Sydney?
Yes, that's what I
Do you
mean.
mean Tony Randall?
Randall?
Plays a therapist.
Who gets a kid?
Yeah, a daughter.
Yes.
A daughter.
The reason.
Sydney.
The
That's
reason
not
I
that hard.
Well, for the modern listener, I think it might be. And by that, I mean young. The reason I know that one is because Facts of Life was my favorite show
Yes.
for as long as I can remember.
Same.
Alice featured Joe's brother.
Yes. He's
R.I.P.
dead.
I
He
know.
died.
Yeah. That is sad.
Did you guys read the David Milch book for Facts of Life fans?
No.
What?
What?
So David Milch.
David Milch wrote a Facts of Life book?
Absolutely not. David Milch wrote this. The David Milch book is fantastic.
What is
It's
it?
his new memoir.
Oh.
Okay.
I'll totally read it.
It's so good. But he's at like Rite Aid or whatever in LA, and he sees the one that played Jerry on Facts of Life.
Yes.
Jerry Jewell.
Jerry Jewell.
Jerry Jewell. And he's like, what are you doing? What are you up to? And she's like, yeah, I haven't been working that much or whatever. He's like, I'm writing this show, David. What do you want to do?
Wow.
And
He
she's
said what?
What do you want to do?
Wow.
And she like came up with the character and he's like, yeah. And he changed it a little bit. He's like, put her in the show.
Which show?
Deadwood.
Deadwood. Yes, she was in Deadwood.
Of course she was in Deadwood.
And I
Amazing.
will say, when I was running a show, or no, when I was working on The Middle, but it was the same casting director. Was
The Middle.
Like,
I remember that.
The Middle? You remember
Yeah.
that one?
Yeah.
It's shot right there. They
In
wanted
my neighbor's yard. That's where Robin was pointing.
it did. The casting director knew I would get so excited if one of the actors auditioning was Jerry Jewell, and she didn't get the part, but it was so unbelievably
She didn't
exciting.
get the part.
I know. I wasn't running that show. I was
Jesus.
not running that show.
So anyway, Love Sydney came on after Facts of Life.
Yes, and
For
can you
years.
remember the theme song?
No, but I bet you can.
We're friends forever. That's all I
That's
remember.
right.
Yeah, that is just, and it was like this almost sort of like lighthearted, like feel good theme song where you saw this little girl running into Tony Randall's arms, and also a young Jeffrey Tambor, right? He
Oh,
was
really?
on that show, I believe.
He's been in everything.
He really has.
Now, when you mentioned that you had a crush on Jason Bateman, I was
Yes.
wondering, was that like circa It's Your Move?
I've spent some time
Yes.
with Jason Bateman.
Let's.
He brought me to a
everything.
baseball game. To
Really?
a Dodgers game, yeah. But the other day, I had to write to showrunners to ask them to do something for the Hollywood Reporter.
Okay.
To write like a couple sentences for this thing. Wrote to tons of them. Some got back to me, some didn't. Bateman, 5 minutes, came up with it.
Wow.
What a great guy.
I'm
What a
just
great
going
guy.
to say, I didn't get that email, Joel. I'm waiting
I
for
regret
a
it.
Hollywood
I
Report.
regret it.
No,
It's because of where you live.
But
It was maybe before we met, to be honest.
No, it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. But here's what I'll say about Jason Bateman, and I don't know if I mentioned this on the show when I talked about the pop star that I had been working out with in February.
Who everyone guessed right away.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I
Awesome.
guess.
There was one person who guessed Justin Bieber, but everyone else knew.
From 2nd to 5th grade, my parents had money. That was it. From 84 to 88, my parents had money, and they sent me to this fantastic elementary school in Calabasas. And one day, out of nowhere, we're all playing on the blacktop, and Jason Bateman is there playing basketball.
What?
This is during it. This is probably between Silver Spoon and It's Your Move. And I lost my mind. And I'm in
How did-
2nd grade.
How did that
He
manifest
just
itself?
started going to the school because I think it was a fancy-ish school in the Valley. And he started going there. And just to really bring it full circle, when I was working at the Middle, which shot at the Warner Brothers Ranch, he was shooting Horrible Bosses too. And I was going back and forth from the stage, and I walked right through a basketball game with Jason Bateman. And it was
What?
like, he doesn't even understand how much this means to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a Jason Bateman girl for sure.
What happened to your parents' money?
Said so like I loved how casual.
I mean, weren't we all wondering?
I think we know.
My father.
We do?
Um.
I don't know.
Well, you can read about it in my father's memoir, From Brooklyn to Beverly Hills. It's on sale on Amazon.
Is it self-published?
Uh-huh.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh.
We have to do a dramatic reading.
Oh my gosh.
But my father ran. So the Brooklyn is where he grew up. Beverly Hills, he worked in Beverly Hills at Cedars-Sinai. That's why we moved out to California in 1980.
Is he a doctor?
No, he was a hospital administrator. And like 5 years into this fabulous job at Cedars where he's being wined and dined and like hanging out with like Muhammad Ali, he decides to go into business for himself and
As
start as a such a good question, a healthcare consultant.
Okay.
Meaning if you want to buy a practice or sell a practice and you're a doctor and you want to hand over your files, there's a whole legal thing that has to happen. And then he also worked a lot as a expert witness on a lot of medical malpractice trials. So
Ooh, that's neat.
until he got up and running, it was dark. it was just like it went from like it wasn't like we were living like this hi-fi life. All I knew is that I went
Hi-fi? Is that-
high five. I don't know why
That's
I
not right.
It's
Do you mean highfalutin?
highfalutin life in the 80s.
Oh, that's right either.
That's not right either.
They weren't living high on the
flying?
hog.
high on the hog, high flying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like a hi-fi life.
Everyone likes this guy, right? The one I'm doing right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, that's the best guy in the room. He's
Interrupt
like, they
stories.
did that on The Simpsons. They're never, if you're an aspiring TV writer and you love The Simpsons, we love you for your love of The Simpsons, but you can never say in a writer's room they did that on The Simpsons.
Especially on The Simpsons.
No, exactly.
If you're writing on The Simpsons,
No.
there is that guy, and no one likes it because it's like, of course we did it. We have to do it again.
We have to keep doing it. But my dad just decided to start his own business out of our third bedroom, and it didn't go great for a long time.
So you left the school with
I
Jason
had to
Bateman.
leave my dream school, and at some point, my parents will understand that that was the absolute worst decision for the trajectory of my life, or the best. We don't know. I'm sitting here right now with all of you, so it
Right.
wasn't so bad.
Aww.
But for a long time, you felt that it was the worst thing that could have happened to you.
The public schools that I went to in the Valley were tough. They were tough schools, and it was a rude awakening.
Well, how
to
did
say the
Bateman
least.
feel when you left the school?
I mean, he had a lot of feelings about it.
Yeah.
I don't think he was there that long. I think back then you had to sort of register at a school, show up twice, and then the set tutors.
He didn't
would
have a
get-
great childhood.
He didn't.
No.
I believe it. I
But
believe
his
it.
sister's Mallory.
Yeah.
But his parents were
Yeah.
show business parents.
Oh.
I don't think they were eager to go into show business themselves as kids.
What are parents?
His
What
dad
do
was
they
like
do?
his manager. It was like one of those deals. I don't think. Yeah.
And Justine Bateman wrote a really good book
Yes,
that I read about fame.
I haven't read it.
It's actually fascinating. It's actually really well written, and she if I remember correctly, she equates fame to the idea of like going to the gym and everybody waves you, and you don't even have to slide your card. You get waved into the
That
gym.
sounds
They
great.
throw you a T-shirt. You get a free water bottle, and then like 2 years later, you show up to the same gym, and you're like, you have to swipe your
off.
card. No one gives you anything, and no one pays attention to you, and you just have to work out. And I thought that was an apt description.
Yeah.
Having never been famous.
So Samantha who?
Oh my God, so Samantha Who ? Double tail.
Right. Well, Justine Bateman passed on coming on my podcast. So I was like,
Really?
really? That's how it's going to be? Okay, fine. But I did meet her once before I'd asked her to be on. I didn't ask her when I met her. It was through people. And then I found she's playing a Leonardo DiCaprio, really, if you think about it. She was very nice when I met her. But I did say, I'm a big fan. And she seemed like not super into hearing that.
Huh. Interesting. I don't know what that means in terms of her book.
I think she didn't have a negative reaction or anything, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, thank you, that's so nice to hear. It was I got like, she's probably, I mean, I think if you're a kid actor,
Ugh.
probably you're tired of people telling you that they grew up watching you and what a big deal you were to them.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Manimal.
The TV show?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about Manimal.
Okay.
I don't. Did you work on that too?
No, it was like in the 70s.
Oh, but I know
I
that
have
it was a
one.
TV show. Yeah.
I just
please.
wanted to see if there's any shows that you couldn't do this with.
What a dummy.
Oh God, What a Dummy was the 90s, right?
Yes.
And it was a guy who had a dummy that sat on his lap.
Yeah.
But I don't remember who the guy was.
Was it the dad who had the dummy or the kid? Because Stephen Dorff was in it, and I had
think
a crush
it was
on
the
him.
dad who had a dummy.
Okay, yeah. It was, yes. It shot at Universal, and it was a family, and they had a dummy that did talk.
That is
I don't know that show.
incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
I think
great.
it was like a one season. Oh, Malloy?
Don't know Malloy.
Okay.
The
It sounds
Beckett
familiar.
No. Malloy had Jennifer Aniston
What?
and Mayim Bialik. And it was like, then I feel like it came back as another similarly named show. It was
Malloy's back?
Malloy's back, The Return of Malloy. Tony, can you look up Malloy?
I'm trying.
Mayim
but I-
Bialik played Malloy.
Yeah.
And I just remember there was like Jennifer Aniston asked someone if bananas are binding.
That's
I remember that line for
Wow.
some reason.
when I search Malloy,
That's my memory of it, yes.
Because
It could
it's-
also be Molloy.
that's Malloy.
That's not a word.
Malloy.
Yeah.
I want to know everything
Yeah,
about
go
Crumbs
through.
and American Princess, and I'm actually not kidding. I want to know everything about what it was like to work on those shows.
Okay, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
No, just because I didn't think it would be that. No, it was great.
Yeah.
I just didn't think it was that. I have great stories.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay.
I never talked to Jane Curtin.
Why?
I think I was afraid,
Yeah.
but I
get
got
that.
to know. But I knew Fred from before.
Yeah.
and he was great.
Yeah.
Didn't he have some?
He's in trouble right now.
Yeah. For what though?
But meanwhile, his brother, who I also got to know, is running for city
Oh,
council
really?
of West Hollywood.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good for him.
I know. Ben Savage.
yeah.
But wait, what's Fred Savage in trouble for? Allegedly.
Like light Me Too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he got in trouble on the Wonder Years, I guess.
On the Wonder Years.
I
On
think
the
it was-
new reboot of
I think it was
Oh.
for direct. He's a TV director
Yes.
Yes.
mostly. Yeah.
I have an important thing to bring up to everyone.
Please.
Have you noticed that right now, cool girls wear a lot of necklaces.
Yes.
Robin, how many necklaces are you wearing?
0.
Okay. I am also wearing 0. But Busy Phillips,
Ay, ay,
who
ay.
you're friends with, she
Ay.
wears like
It's too much.
20 at once.
Yes.
Like Mr. T.
Yes. Joel, you know what your wife looks like, right?
I mean, is this a court of law?
How many necklaces does she wear at once normally? I feel like your wife's cool.
You know what? And I'm not just going along to go along, which
No,
is what
I
I
know.
do. I think she's been wearing more necklaces.
Yeah, I know.
But they're not like Mr. T. They're very thin.
But like a bunch at once, right?
More than one at once.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I hadn't really put it together.
Mhm.
Also, she's been wearing a lot more earrings,
Mhm.
but also very thin, but
Yep.
a lot more. Like there were holes that had probably like closed up long ago, and suddenly they've returned.
Okay.
And I'm just talking about her ears.
Jesus.
How many holes does she have?
Those
in her
are the kind of
ears?
jokes you got on Crumbs, you know?
They did that on the
Did
Simpsons.
you find any Malloy anything?
Yes, and
Okay, because we're returning to necklaces though, so
Yeah.
count the
This
holes,
is- I
Joel.
have a lot of issues with the necklaces.
Yeah, we
The-
got to talk about it.
the spelling
They're very
is
thin, though.
MOLLOY.
Okay.
Oh.
And this is impressive that you remember this because it was 7 episodes, 3 unaired.
Oh my
Brilliant.
God.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. Aired from July 25th, 1990 till August 15th, 1990. Starred Mayim Bialik as carefree LA native preteen girl whose life is turned upside down when her mother dies and her divorced father moves to New York upon remarrying.
So she's an orphan, essentially? They just wanted.
Wait, who raised her? Or did she go to New York?
Living with her single mother in New York.
Preteen.
Wait, I thought her
Her
mother
mom
died.
Malloy.
Oh, Malloy.
These are the kind of things that gets Malloy canceled. They can't.
Oh, sorry, I misread. Yeah, sorry. This is saying she was a happy-go-lucky 11-year-old
Oh.
living with her. Yeah. Okay.
So I wonder if this was
Yeah, saw her
was
father on the
pre-Blossom.
weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1990.
Maybe it came back as Blossom.
Maybe it was post Beaches, pre Blossom.
Does it say Jennifer Aniston? And does it mention
Mhm.
the banana line?
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston was on it. Also, someone named Bumper Robbins.
Yeah.
Bumper Robinson.
Bumper Robinson's been around a while.
Who's
Yeah,
Bumper Robinson?
You can't
'Cause-
click on that name, so that's
I might also be thinking of it. I actually know I know a guy named Bumper, so I think I'm conflating them.
Oh, Tony.
I'm sorry.
Tony told me that he collects weird names.
Yes.
Do you remember when? Okay, so at the beginning of pandemic, when we were all walking,
Yeah.
the bit walking with
I
masks
think I know
on.
what you're gonna say.
Yeah, the big activity. There is a house in the neighborhood that is like very festooned with like little fairies and elf figurines in the garden and pinwheels, and I mean, it's just like it's a lot to look at. And it has signs advertising a podcast.
Okay.
It's something I never thought of for advertising my podcast. And I am forgetting what it is about or what it's called. But I know that there was I'm like, it worked on me. Like, I've got to go home and look this up.
Yeah.
And it's a former Hollywood actress, and her ex-husband, was his name Doodles Weaver?
yes, that is what it was. I couldn't pull it, but then as soon as you
That's
said it, that
the
was.
best.
And isn't
Yeah.
his like real name also weird?
I think so.
Let me
It's-
see.
I was so excited when I saw Doodles
it's-
Weaver.
Okay, it's not that weird. Winstead Sheffield Doodles Weaver.
Doodles
pretty
Weaver is
good.
the best.
Now, who are his exes or spouses?
There is Beverly Masterman,
No.
Evelyn Paulson, Lois Frizzle, and Rita Green.
Rita Green.
4 marriages for Doodles?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Doodles got around. So
Yeah, his
Jeez,
last
Rita,
one ended in 1968, and he died in 1983.
Rita Green is the podcaster, and she had on the woman who had like painted her living room or
Oh.
something.
He's
What?
also the uncle of Sigourney Weaver.
Whoa! Play those.
Uncle
horns.
Doodles?
Sigourney Weaver had an Uncle Doodle.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing
Wow,
that.
why
before.
does
Because
it
we're
Rita
all
get Sigourney?
connected.
If there's one person you don't let your kid alone with in a room,
It's Doodles.
Uncle Doodles.
Uncle
Yeah. I dare you guys, like next time if you ever run into Sigourney Weaver and be like, I was a big fan of your Uncle Doodles.
Why do you have to be so Italian when
I
you talk
don't
to
know.
Sigourney Weaver?
Hey, say hi, Uncle Doodles. I don't know.
No one in the story is Italian.
I know. I just like the idea of saying hello to a family member felt Italian to me. I just watched all The
Okay.
Sopranos. That's
Oh.
probably why.
And how long did that take you?
A few months, but
Okay.
it was great. Much, yes.
Had
That's
you-
what-
it was a good
that
show?
is the Sheet TV show I had never seen, Joel.
Oh, you'd
I-
never seen it?
So I
No,
also,
I've seen
Oh.
every other show except The Sopranos. Clearly,
Wait, was it your first time watching Sopranos?
fully yes.
No.
It was my first time.
You've seen like Manimal, but you've never seen The Sopranos?
That's why I watched it.
Was
'cause,
it? Did you only watch comedies, or how did this happen?
when The Sopranos started in the late '90s, I was living in New York and I didn't have cable. I couldn't afford cable,
Okay.
but I auditioned for The Sopranos a
you
couple
did
of times.
Which
I did.
what characters?
Well, there was a lesbian tennis instructor, and I
Perfect.
and she's and then I was watching the episode with the lesbian tennis instructor, and I was like, oh my god, Erica Learson! I used to go against her for every part in New York, and then there was one other part I can't remember what it was, but. So I auditioned for it, hadn't seen it, and then knew culturally about it, knew who Polly
You'd heard of
Walnuts
it.
was. I'd
Okay.
heard of it, and everybody freaked out in the finale and da-da-da-da. But I was like, I need to do this for myself as a TV lover. I need to sit down and watch The Sopranos.
So you were too poor to watch The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you had
Yeah.
HBO
No,
when
that's
that
true.
came out,
That's
I
true.
was right out of college.
So,
Yeah.
Robin, I also had not seen the whole Sopranos until early in the pandemic when I was walking.
What
Yeah.
was your excuse?
I don't like dark, violent things.
Okay.
And
It's a weird.
also I was like,
I mean, it's weird that you picked that husband.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to think what else my excuse was. I think I also didn't have HBO. I lived in a house with roommates, and I didn't have HBO on my television in my room. I remember we like would get together to watch Sex and the City
Yeah.
in the living room.
Sounds like it's HBO.
Yeah, I mean we had it on the TV downstairs, but none of us were watching Sopranos, and I don't know, like my parents loved it, and I was like, okay, that's your show. I'm not
Yeah.
into it. But I've also not watched The Wire.
Same. I have not watched The Wire.
Joel, do we need to watch The Wire?
You do.
Okay.
I've
Yeah.
tried to
But
watch
it takes
The Wire.
6 seasons to get into it, right?
Well,
The first couple episodes of The Wire are tough.
Yeah, it is.
And I had a tough,
It is
and I
well
needed
tough.
to put on subtitles, and I was like, this is inaccessible
I
for
watched
me.
everything with subtitles.
and also it's occasionally a little bit like a procedural.
Yeah, yeah.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Which isn't great.
Well, I want to say about The Sopranos, my mom and I often have nothing to talk about other than what I call the Havurah and plans. The Havurah is a group of Jewish families I grew up with. So it's what's going on with the Havurah and what are your plans for the next 6 months. And so I was like, I'm trying to come up with like healthy solutions to have something to talk to my mom about. And she and her husband decided to watch The Sopranos right after I did.
Oh, that's
They hadn't
perfect.
seen it either.
They hadn't seen it either. And I
Wait,
know.
How was it, by the way?
Incredible.
You liked it? Okay.
It's. I think also this is going to sound crazy, but it's one of the funniest shows I've ever seen.
Very
Yeah.
much so.
It's so funny.
But it
They
starts
should
out a
lead
little
with
slow.
that.
It's slow. It's a little slow, but
first
I
few
was
episodes, yeah.
I was in from the beginning, and you know, I'd always heard about the Pine Barrens episode and how famous that was. And my mom the other day was like, "Oh, we just saw them all just kind of wandering out around in the woods. You know, it's like and then the guy got his hair all messed up." I'm like, that is like the most famous episode of television. But she was like, the guy with his hair was all messed up.
Can we get
Sorry.
back to no, it's good. I think she should tell Sigourney that she saw Uncle Doodles.
Sigourney.
Can we get back to the necklaces?
Yes.
Now, your wife, how many holes in her ears does she have, would you say?
Upwards of 30?
What?
Stop.
No, I'm just kidding. A normal amount. More than me. I have none.
Does she have like the piercings on like the inside?
No,
part
no,
of the
no,
ear?
no.
Okay.
Maybe like 2 on one side and 3 on the other, or two and 2. I don't know.
Sure, sounds good. Does she wear stacks of rings? And that means more than one ring on a finger. I'm not talking about the wedding ring.
No.
Okay, you seem unsure.
Well, because I'm just realizing this necklace thing is also new.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Tony?
trend.
Does your lady wear a lot of necklaces?
No. necklace, no.
Does she know that cool girls wear a lot of necklaces?
Probably. I don't know.
Okay.
But I know she would also be the first to then try to claim that she's not cool. So
But she
would
has a
not
lot of
try to.
tattoos, right?
She does.
I
yeah.
think you're either a lot of necklaces
no
or a lot of tattoos.
on Cassandra.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If you listen and you have a lot of tattoos and you wear a lot of necklaces,
Call in right away.
let us know. You can tweet us at ARIYMBF or ARIYMBFshow@gmail.com. So I see all the necklaces and I just think that looks so uncomfortable.
Well, my problem is like I have one really nice necklace.
Are you wearing it?
I'm not wearing it, and then
We're not good enough.
No, I just didn't think to put it on, and then I've tried to find sort of budget-friendly necklaces to do what the cool girls are doing, and I buy them on Amazon, and I immediately return them because they look so fake. Because there's certain Instagram accounts you can follow that are like, if you want a dupe of this and a dupe of that,
Yeah.
get this, and so they link it, and then I buy
Duplicate.
it.
Is that short
Yeah.
for? Is that what the kids are saying?
It's short for like a cheap knockoff,
Okay.
I think. And so I tried to do a neck party, as they call it. They call it
a neck
they
party?
call it an ear
That
party.
meant something very different
Oh
in the
my
90s.
God.
I know. They call it an ear party if you decorate your ear with
I didn't
all
know
the-
this.
Allison's taking notes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
neck party. Well, it's really ear party, but I changed it to neck party.
I like
But
that.
I mean, I had no idea.
I have 2 pierces in one ear and 3 in another, and,
Yeah, that's what-
and I'm losing my mind because I don't hold on to jewelry. I don't like having anything on my hands.
Yeah.
I feel weird. I feel like I don't like my hands enough to have a ring on it,
Oh.
even at all. I've never worn much jewelry, but Busy's out of control with her necklaces, and she would understand that. And also, they get tangled. Like, what's the point?
I know, but I mean, she has Instagram posts where she explains that it changes by the day, and then she'll like work out with her 600 necklaces on, and I just think I don't want any jewelry on when I
No.
work out.
None.
Not even my wedding. I mean, I will wear that, but like the idea of sweat and just
Yeah.
like getting swollen in jewelry. I feel like we need to find out if it's uncomfortable.
Will
you
find
ask
out.
her?
I will ask her, and I will say the pop star does not wear jewelry, and then suddenly everybody's wedding rings come off when he shows up
Is
to
that
the
right?
studio.
No, literally?
I mean,
can
it's the vibe of everybody's taking off their wedding
Yeah.
rings. I don't know if it's true, but I haven't seen him in a while. So.
Holes open up that were previously closed.
Oh,
So regret saying that.
no, it's great.
That and
I
the
think it's great.
DiCaprio thing.
Listen, I want to talk to you guys about Masterclass. I imagine that you've heard of Masterclass because they are amazing. They have tons of instructors. They have over 2,500 classes. There's a new one called Styling Your Own Hair for Any Occasion with Jen Atkin. Robin, do you know who that is?
Yeah, she had a TV show, I think. Yes, I
She
know.
did.
Was it Jen Atkin who?
She
She's a celebrity hairstylist.
Yes.
She does Chrissy Teigen. She
Yeah,
does
yeah.
the Kardashians. I don't know if she currently does that, but she has before.
She and
she
her
has
brother had a TV show on Bravo.
Okay, she has the brand Way. It's OU. No, there's another
Oui?
We. I mean,
Yeah.
yes. And I have followed her on Instagram forever because I love her tips and her hints and things. So I am going to be taking this class momentarily. I took creative writing with Judy Bloom.
No,
and-
wait, what?
Well, it's a masterclass.
I understand, but
Did you
That's
know
so
that Judy
cool.
Bloom teaches a class on there?
so my mom lives in Key West
Mm-hmm.
and she owns a bookstore there, like blocks from my mom's house. So we always go and she's always there, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And we buy books and she signs them to my son and then we read them. But
Yeah.
that's so what was the class like?
Amazing and inspirational because there was a point.
She's a tough chick.
That's what I said. There's a point at which she considered quitting writing altogether because she got a negative review and she almost
No.
threw her typewriter in like the Grand Canyon or something. That moment always sticks with me. And then there's a class from the guy who invented criminal profiling. I mean, there's
Wow.
like tons of chefs.
Judy Bloom, though.
I know. I'm
That's
telling
crazy.
you. I'm telling you. Every time I look at the offerings, I'm like, I am going to take all of these and then I'm going to level up. With Masterclass, you can learn from the world's best minds anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace. You learn how to style your own hair from Jen Atkin, build your own personal style from Carla Welch, learn creative writing from Judy Bloom. With over 2,500 classes from a range of world-class instructors, that thing you've always wanted to do is closer than you think. Maybe make a bunch, the perfect necklace stack from Busy Phillips. Tell her. That'd be a good idea.
She'll do it.
Look, I highly recommend you check it out. Get unlimited access to every class. And as an Allison Rosen's Your New Best Friend listener, you get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/bestfriend now. That's masterclass.com/bestfriend for 15% off Masterclass. Okay.
Can I just make a correction to something I just said during that ad?
Sure.
It wasn't Jen Atkin who had a show on Bravo
Okay.
about hair. It was Jonathan Anton.
Oh.
Remember that show, Blowout?
Yes. Wait, Blowout. Wasn't that
Sorry, Joel.
wasn't that the competition show?
No, it was just like a show about like the sexy LA guy who like cut hair, and then he decided like there was one episode where he wanted to reinvent water so that you had better quality hair based on the water. Like he was crazy, but I completely conflated again.
But that's exciting.
Yeah.
But there was a show on, I think it was Bravo.
Oh, Tabitha, was it the Solange? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
What was it called? Because I know that on Facebook many, many years ago, I was like, I'm going to, spruce up my profile. And I like indicated what TV shows I liked.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of them.
Great.
And I think it still says that I'm into that show. I'm into like The Hills, I'm
Yeah.
into that show.
Yeah.
What was it? It was a blowout competition show, Tony.
Is this Tabitha's salon takeover?
Tabitha.
No, it's not that. I swear it was called Blowout.
Yeah.
My mother, the car.
I love My Mother the Car
this is amazing.
with the guy with Dick Van Dyke's brother Jerry Van Dyke. Can I just tell you, Jerry
Yeah.
Van Dyke played the grandfather on The Middle. May he
Yes.
rest in peace. Jerry Van Dyke took My Mother the Car over Gilligan on Gilligan's Island.
He could have been Gilligan.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's an odd
And
Gilligan.
and guys out there, listeners, if you want to see a great opening theme song and credits, watch the opening to My Mother the Car. It's his mother died and turned into a car, and he just drives the car around.
And gets nagged.
Yeah.
And advice.
Yeah.
Both.
It's great. It's great, but it only lasted a season or two.
You're good. You're really
Thanks.
good.
I love television.
That's one of those shows that I don't think I've ever seen. I think I have seen the opening. I don't know that I've ever seen an episode.
I
but
don't
I've
think
heard
I've
of
seen
it.
it.
So
I
much.
think when we were in the writer's room at the Middle and Jerry would go on and on and on about how he should have taken Gilligan's Island, we pulled up My Mother the Car.
The courtship of Eddie's father.
Well, yeah, that's kind of a famous one.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
Yeah.
Hull High.
Hull High. I don't know what
Let's
that is.
go around and guess. Hitler comes back as a hall monitor in high school, but he's real strict.
Was Hull High like on in the early 90s?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know.
It was
sounds-
musical.
What?
It was like I feel like they worked in a mall, maybe.
Huh.
Except I don't know why it's called Hull High. And they broke into song. And then there was also a show called Rags to Riches.
Yes.
So
I
one
talk
of the-
about that show all
You
the
do?
time. Yes, with my friend Bonnie, we talk about it all the time.
Let me in.
Yeah. It was a great show.
So
Joe Bologna.
one of the girls from Rags to Riches had been in Hull High, I believe.
Oh.
And I think maybe also, oh my God, what is her name? Because she and I had the same manager around the time that
Of
I
the
was
Mike Nichols.
Atmosphere. Yes. What was her name? I
You
can't
want
believe
some
I'm-
cast members?
Yes, please. Of Hull High?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nancy Valen.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I'm looking for the women name. Jennifer Blanc, Kristen Datillo.
Jennifer Blanc is married. If that's Jen Blanc Bean, she's married to Michael Bean.
Who's that?
He was in Terminator,
Yes,
maybe?
he is in Terminator.
And his
Yes,
son,
they are married.
Kaylin, used to work at the Corolla show. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's Holly Fields.
Holly Fields. Okay, so do you know who Holly Fields
It
is?
sounds so familiar. Was she blonde?
Yes.
I'm
You
thinking-
would recognize her.
Yeah.
She's been in a ton of stuff. We had the same manager.
Ooh.
And now we follow each other on Instagram. And
Oh.
because we mostly want to know, is that manager still alive?
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Hull High sounds
That's a podcast.
so familiar.
Is that manager still alive?
Yeah.
It is a podcast.
It really is. Wait, what? Now, when you talk about Rags to Riches,
Yes.
explain the premise of this because this was also musical. Wait, does it
Yes.
say Hull High was musical?
Yes. Also only lasted for 9 episodes and debuted the same month as Cop Rock.
Yes.
Right.
By the way, I rewatched Cop Rock a long time ago.
It's it's incredible, but not like legitimately incredible,
I
but
thought
incredible.
it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's
I was
insane.
I need to go back and look at some Cop Rock clips. But when that came out, I feel like I could be wrong. I feel like they put a lot of money into Cop Rock marketing
Yes.
at the time.
Yeah.
Randy Newman did all the music, right? Is that right?
Oh.
Somewhat.
I think he at least did the theme song.
I think it overshadowed Hull High because it sounds like a similar premise. What does it say Hull High was about?
Sorry, I got excited about Cop Rock. An American musical teen comedy aired on NBC. Told the story of Cordell Hull High School. Sorry. Told the story of Cordell Hull High School, a hip, racially integrated school in an urban area. Series involved elements of soap opera, humor, and musical.
Animal. Now,
Animal.
what was Rags to Riches about?
Rags to Riches was about a girl. It was basically Annie, except everybody got adopted by Daddy Warbucks, aka Joe Bologna, who has died, who has since died.
R.I.P. again.
R.I.P. But I think his wife was in it too. Renee Fleming, not Renee Fleming.
How many kids did he adopt?
I feel like it was like 8 girls. He
Yeah.
adopted like 8 girls.
This is dark.
But it wasn't.
But it was.
wasn't. And the lead was the girl from Martin. She's a very famous actress, very famous TV actress.
Tisha Campbell?
Tisha Campbell was the lead, essentially like the lead of the girls.
Didn't they sing covers? That's what I'm
Yes.
remembering now is
Yes.
covers. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love Rags to Riches. I wanted to be on that show so badly. Oh,
Did you also want to be in Troop Beverly Hills?
you know what's so funny? I've never seen Troop Beverly Hills.
What?
And my best childhood friend is in it. Kelly Martin's in it.
You need
I've
to
never
see.
seen
I mean,
it.
I thought it was really good. Were you a Troop Beverly Hills stan?
Is that with a dog? I haven't seen that.
No, you're
Shelley
thinking
Long.
of
Lassie.
Legally Blonde.
No, I'm thinking of another movie with
Oh.
Beverly Hills in it about a dog.
Oh,
Is Beverly Hills Chihuahua?
That's it.
No, Troop Beverly Hills
Isn't
was a
Jenny Lewis in that
Yes,
also?
she
Yes,
is.
she is.
Oh my. Big fan.
Yes.
I'm a fan of the,
I'm such a fan of
and
hers.
Harriet from Small Wonder.
Yes.
And-
Wait, the
uh,
actual Small Wonder actress?
No.
Is in
well,
Troop-
the
no, no,
neighbor.
no.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
was the neighbor.
Yes.
I sort of knew her right before I went to college. I went to Dollywood with Emily Schulman, who played Harriet on Small Wonder. I don't want to brag, guys.
You went to Dollywood?
I went to Dollywood the summer
As a
before my
child?
freshman year. No, I was a teen. I was my late teens.
What, and who organized such a trip?
Harriet from Small Wonder's mom.
She was like,
Mrs. Schulman.
did
Mrs.
she,
Schulman.
why did they want to go to Dollywood?
So my friend Kelly Martin is an actress, and she and
I know,
Emily
I know.
Schulman were shooting. Sorry, she and Emily Schulman were shooting a show in Knoxville called
Oh.
Christie,
Okay.
and Kelly didn't have the day off, but Emily did, and so we went to Dollywood.
But did you fly out?
I did fly out.
Wow.
I'd never been to. I
So
just
your
went-
parents were doing better by this point.
No. I flew myself out. I
Oh.
was working at Baskin Robbins, or maybe even Kelly helped me with the ticket. I definitely did not ask my parents because I was also about to go to college.
How was Dollywood?
I maintain, and this information is over 25 years old. As an amusement park,
Yep.
I loved it. It had great rides.
Oh.
There was a history from. Oh my God! There was a From Rags to Riches museum where you could see the trajectory of
the
Dolly's
show?
life. Yeah, and then they have like a standalone sort of mock-up of the cabin that she grew up in.
Oh, I knew that.
I
Yeah.
think it's fascinating. It was my favorite amusement park.
You know, I've only been to Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, and Magic Mountain.
That's
And
okay.
there's thank you, but
That's a great trifecta.
But I mean, there's so many amusement parks around the world, everywhere, and I've just never been to the other ones.
I think they're all the same.
You're also an adult.
I would also say
No, but I mean, in my childhood, but like I've never been to Dollywood.
But Dollywood is like an outlier. And again, it could be so different now, but I just remember it was like down home and like even the roller coasters felt rickety, but they weren't. You felt like it just felt like you were in this like weird southern gorge in Tennessee with,
That sounds cool with Harriet.
yeah. I have pictures. from
Boy,
that.
whatever happened to Jamie from Small Wonder, the boy?
I don't know. Remember when they said it was Billy Corrigan?
No, but I do
That
know when
rumor?
they said that
I know what you're going to say.
Kevin,
Was
from
from
Mr.
Marilyn
Belvedere,
Manson.
right, was Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Kevin from where?
Wonder-
Years.
Oh, that makes sense. But it's not true.
But it's such a brilliant.
Wait, no, not
rumor.
Wonder Years. Mr. Belvedere.
No, I always
Wesley
heard
was on
Wonder
Mr.
Years.
Belvedere.
Paul, the nerdy kid on Wonder Years. That was the one I heard. was
No, they
Marilyn
also
Manson.
claimed that the older brother
Oh,
from Mr. Belvedere was Marilyn Manson.
Oh, I never heard that one.
What was his name? Kevin.
Rob Stone.
Yeah,
Yes.
Kevin.
Oh, I believe
crazy.
Doug Benson was roommates with him at one point.
Oh, yes, I think
Oh.
so. Yeah.
And the sister on Mr. Belvedere went to my high school, but she was older than me.
What was her name?
Tracy. Her stage name was Tracy Wells, but her real name was Tracy Brockstein.
What the stage name is such a weird
I
phrase
know.
for just not being Jewish,
I know.
right? It's a weird euphemism.
I know.
Her stage nose was
Right.
much smaller.
Oh, yes, it's true.
Oh, my God.
Stage
I wish I
nose.
could get a stage nose.
Yeah. Let's get
You
stage
guys,
nose.
you guys have all great noses. You do.
You're staring at me straight on.
That's true. Yeah. Oh boy.
I like your nose.
I'm not into it.
I like it straight ahead.
Yeah,
Oh
when I
my
turn to the
God.
side, it's pretty like, oh, yikes.
Joel, no profile. Stein, he doesn't like to see a profile.
Right.
Just kidding.
It's all true.
Okay.
I love Mount Rushmore.
Did you ever
From a
consider
certain
plastic
angle.
surgery? But by the way, you have a cute small nose. But did you ever consider it? Because I've been considering a nose job since I was like 15.
Oh.
I feel like if I were going to do it, I would have already done it. Same
I
with
would
many
say
drugs.
Don't do it. The only plastic surgery I am considering is going to be for my neck.
Oh, because
My neck is aging a lot faster than my face.
There isn't a whole Nora Ephron book about that. There's a
I feel
Nora
bad
Ephron
about my
essay
neck, yeah.
in the middle of that book.
but there's a whole book named after it.
Yes. I did a cover for Time on Plastic Surgery, so I have strong opinions on what you should or shouldn't do.
Tell me.
If I had known this, I wouldn't have wasted all our time with the other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little old by now, but I haven't checked in, but I would not do anything that involved a knife
I agree.
because I think that is permanent and dangerous and a little backwards, and it looks starting to look a little weird now that everyone's moved on to like. Not that I think you should do this either, but like moved on to injectables.
See, because I feel
Yeah.
like
It looks weird. You see people with like, especially men, but even women with facelifts, and they look. It gets uncanny valley.
I think
Yeah.
that the facelift actually oftentimes looks better than all the face full of fillers, which begins to look very unnatural. But
Well,
maybe
sure,
I haven't
sure,
seen fillers done well.
But you can see bad fillers, but then they'll go away at least,
yes,
and they're fixable.
I hear what you're saying.
I feel like, and I know as women, we're supposed to be like, I'm beautiful. I accept my body. I love myself. But as I get older, I feel that my neck is turning into a second vagina.
And that's a bad thing.
It's for me. It is for my boyfriend. It might be great,
Right.
But it's not. It just like I was doing. I don't know if you have the app Marco Polo, but I keep in touch with a lot of my friends on Marco Polo, and I spend half the Marco Polo going like, oh my god, because you have to look at yourself.
So
while
this
you're
is
recording.
this is a thing they call it Zoom face. Like people are going to plastic surgeons and
Basically,
are
yeah.
asking for different things. So they're staring at themselves all day. Have you heard about the
Yes.
guys who are getting their jaws?
No, but I
like,
believe
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
But also, those guys, like my boyfriend, need to know that on Zoom, there's a way that you can check out of your own. You can hide
Yes.
self view. And at the beginning of Zoom, when I was working on a show, like I put a Post-it note over myself because I was like, I can't work if
Yeah.
I can see myself. But most guys don't know that you can do that.
so what are you going to do for your neck, though? Morpheus 8?
I think I'm just gonna do the Amy Mann thing and just wear scarves.
Did she do that?
Yeah.
Because of her
She's
neck?
the coolest.
I think so. I think so. Joel, she did the theme song for the podcast that me and Morgan Murphy did
yeah.
about our neighborhood.
I will listen for
You
all
don't
kinds
have
of reasons.
to listen to it, but she wrote
What's
a
it
great
called?
theme song. Well, it's gonna name our neighborhood. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Called
Los-
Showrunner District.
It was called Los Feliz, the podcast, and we're trying to get it started again. It's very
Oh.
hard to do a podcast.
Did you think about
Allison.
calling it the
I know.
Happy?
Why would we call
The
it the
Happy?
happy?
Los Feliz.
Oh, that's beautiful. Is it?
Oh.
Oh, it's Feliz. Oh yeah, happy. Yeah. We should have. Maybe in this reboot that we're considering, we'll call it the happy.
Oh, I'm excited.
To listen to a podcast about your neighborhood from 6 years ago.
It hasn't changed that much.
It hasn't. But we just did the most recent one we did episode about P22 who died.
Yeah,
The mountain
I wasn't
lion.
all into it.
Okay.
My P22 story real quick.
Yes.
Sorry.
No.
When my son was young, my mom and her husband came to watch him. And we went to Spain for a few days. I know anyway.
Wait, what are you defending against?
Nothing.
I was going to be nervous that P22 ate your son.
Well, no, there was a knock on the door and it was the ranger,
Uh-huh.
and he had a gun, and he said, "Don't leave your house. There's a mountain lion around here." And then he left, and my suburban mom and her husband were like,
Right.
"What just happened? We have a baby here. We can't leave the house." But there was never a return visit from the ranger saying when it was
So
okay.
they're still there.
They're still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was found. P22 went to this woman's house to die, and he had been to this woman's house before. He had sort of sniffed it out and then went there, and then she was on a Zoom call, and the ranger showed up, and she thought it was just salespeople, and she was like, "Geez, these people have," and it was the ranger department, and they were like, "You have a mountain lion in your backyard, and he's not moving," because he had been hit by a car, so he was in bad shape.
Did you go to the thing at the Hollywood Bowl for PS?
I couldn't get tickets. It was sold out.
So
it was at the
explain
Great.
for anyone who doesn't know who P22 was. R.I.P. Explain, please.
P22 is known as the Brad Pitt of mountain lions. And he was just like this really good looking, sinewy mountain lion who crossed the 405 and the 10, I believe, from the Santa Monica Mountains to make his home in Griffith Park in Los Feliz. And he would often be seen on people's Ring doorbells wandering around at night. And so he was like the pride and joy of like Griffith Park. And then he was doing great. He survived for like 12 years almost. And then he got hit by a car, and it damaged his mental function. And then he just started to
Eat people's pets.
Yeah, it started to get really dark, and he lost a lot of weight. And then I think he just knew it was his time to die. So he went to this woman's house and just did it. He died.
Well, no, they euthanized him.
Sorry, they euthanized him. They transported him from her house to the place where they ultimately euthanized him.
Okay, so I mentioned that I went to a stand-up show.
Yes.
Greg Fitzsimmons does an annual St. Patrick's Day show at the Improv. And every year on Childish, it's the podcast he and I do together, there's this question of like, will I show up? Because I am known for not doing anything social. It is hard when you have small kids.
Or you have no
and social
kids.
anxiety. Yeah. But so anyway, this year I went, Daniel and I went, and it was very, very entertaining. It was very good. There was a soda bread contest. Greg made soda bread, and everyone in the audience got a little bit. And then his friend Lorene made it, and then we had to vote. And now Lorene won.
Mm-hmm.
I personally felt Greg's was stronger, and I'm not just saying that because I know him. I didn't.
You
know
just
his was
got
his.
Fitz-dogged.
That's right. But anyway, Bill Burr was a surprise guest.
Oh.
And Bill Burr came on, and he did a bit about something that Daniel has been saying for months and months. Daniel has a hot take, a lot of thoughts on something, which I'll get into in a second, for months and months. And I've said you should say this on the podcast, but he doesn't want to because he doesn't want to offend people and bring on ire. And then Bill Burr essentially did a very similar thing on stage. And Daniel was like, I wish I had said it on the podcast. But anyway, Bill Burr's whole thing was like, now I'm confusing Daniel and Bill Burr. But like, I'm not sad about P22. A mountain lion should not have been living in a neighborhood. And Bill Burr went in the direction of like all these people who are suddenly so sad about P22. Like, did you really hear of him this whole time? Like suddenly everyone is, even I was like, I almost shed a tear. Or if I did shed a tear, I felt sad about it. Cats and cat people, I feel they're immoral fucknuts. I think, but Daniel's thing is like, good. That's why he doesn't want to piss anyone off. But like, good. There should not be a line. I mean, like, what about the people whose dog, like even the person whose dog was eaten by P22 recently was kind of like, what are you going to do?
Right.
It's, it's nature. But P22 had eaten a koala bear.
Yes.
Which,
yes.
It got into the zoo and ate a koala bear. Like P22 really, it's a fair point that Daniel's like, do we think P22 was happy being the only mountain lion in Los Feliz or in Griffith Park?
Yeah.
And then Bill Burr's like, send them back to where they belong. I don't know. It was just interesting.
I understand that sentiment. I mean, but it's also I think what people liked is that it was a reminder that we are living in nature still.
Yes.
And we live at the foothills of Griffith Park, and that nature is among us. And maybe to that end, we need a little bit more regulation so that P22 doesn't get into the LA Zoo.
I see both sides of it.
Yeah, I do too.
Mm-hmm.
I do too. If my dog, God forbid, had been eaten, I would have a huge problem with P22.
Right.
But I want to say this. He's a really good looking mountain lion. He was sexy. I was attracted to P22.
If you were to have sex with a different species,
Yeah.
would it be mountain lion?
I guess so.
Odd.
But just Google that picture of him walking
More
down
than
from
horse.
the Hollywood sign.
You
No horses. No.
Okay.
I mean, the idea of sex with a different species is so bananas if you really think about it. But they're
Even
sex-
our own species is pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy
Sex is pretty
that you find
bananas.
anybody that you're like, yes. But P22 had swagger, you know? Had swagger and did not procreate at all in his years in Griffith
There's no
Park.
P23.
There's no P23. And what I wanted to say on our podcast was like, is it possible that P22 only liked male mountain lions?
You think P22 was gay just because he
But
was
I
in
didn't.
Hollywood?
It was so close to his death, and I'm not saying.
Well, there
that-
weren't any other mountain lions, though, were there?
But he had to have been having sex with something. He's so good
Why?
looking.
Did he work out at your gym?
Yeah.
He also
Yes.
dripped sex.
Oh, drip sex. But yeah, I get. I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
No, it's a good choice.
Well, you know what? Maybe there are other
Are you just
mountain
like a
lions,
star
though.
fucker? Is that why?
Like I have to
Like
have
if-
sex with P22.
I'm just saying, if P22 wasn't famous, would you have found P22 so attractive?
Yeah. I found
Oh, such a good
P22
question.
attractive post-mortem in all the pictures. I was like, I
Oh, like a
understand why
James
he
Dean
was
kinda
called
thing.
the Brad Pitt of mountain lions. Like I finally took a good look at him.
But-
Yeah.
But I
How'd you a lot of other mountain lions
That's
to
my
compare
question,
him to?
yeah.
no.
Maybe he's average.
Maybe.
Maybe they're all hot.
But the mountain lion is the closest you're gonna get to a really fit guy at Crunch, if you think about it.
I'm a little unclear. So there's mountain lions, but then there's also
Oh no.
no. It's not bad.
But
It's just dumb.
You go with cougars or panthers or where is this going?
Bobcats.
Bobcats.
Because no one's afraid of bobcats, right? But they're like, what are bobcats? They're
So
a little bit
we
bigger
get a lot
than
of bobcats
cat.
in our house,
What are they?
outside our house. To me, and I'm at a safe distance. It's outside the window.
Yeah.
They're like large cats.
Right.
A mountain
That's-
lion is a lot bigger.
Yeah.
A mountain lion is like
But
a
it's
thing
not a
you see
lion.
in the zoo. It's not
It's not a lion. It's more like
a large cat, a predator
It's
cat.
also called something else, like a cougar. Or, I don't know. Right?
Oh, was he a cougar?
That's a wrong
or a
word.
panther or
Puma,
something?
not a puma, not a panther. I think those are the same. We have too many words.
We do have too many words. Let's get rid of them.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Let's get rid of words.
Yeah, it looks like mountain lions are cougars.
They are.
That's it.
That's so interesting. I didn't know
I
that.
didn't know that
I
either.
don't know if it's that interesting.
I think that's interesting
I think it's interesting.
because he was never referred to as a cougar
No.
that I'm aware of.
I think that might be
Because-
it's getting very boring. A regional issue.
Oh,
I believe
same
that.
with panthers and pumas, maybe. I don't know.
interesting.
I believe that.
Let's say hello and welcome to our new patrons.
Allison wants to say thank you to a couple of special people out there. Designers to be new patrons. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen.
Hello and welcome to Gerald Lewis, to Seymour Butts. I don't think it's the real Seymour. I know it's not. It's not the Seymour Butts.
Why can't it be?
Because I saw the person's email address and it's not Seymour Butts.
What was his real name?
Oh, I don't know.
Very Jewish.
Wait, there was a real Seymour Butts?
Yeah.
he
Oh,
did
he's
a
up.
reality show for a minute.
Yes. What was it called?
I don't know.
What, Robin?
You know,
I don't know.
No, reality shows are different. You just know this. Sitcoms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seymour Butts was a porn director.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
But
what
he
I'm pulling
made
up
like
here.
what was like they used there's a way that they would describe the porn that he made. Was it like ethical porn or gonzo? Yeah, gonzo.
Yeah.
So not ethical.
Yeah.
I looked this up. I didn't just have
Yeah.
that information.
Gonzo porn.
Hello and welcome to Rika Shu, who signed up for an annual subscription, and hello and welcome to Ellen, patreon.com/Allison Rosen. Okay, let's find out what Seymour Butts' real name was.
Oh,
Uncle
we're,
Doodles.
that's and we're talking about the porn director.
Yeah.
Okay.
He had a reality show with his family.
Yes.
Yeah.
This I don't remember, guys.
Was it on E?
How could it not be?
Exactly.
Seymour Butts.
Seymour Butts. It's a good
Where
name.
is he now?
Right.
Where is
he now?
He's over with Rita Green and Uncle Doodles.
He apparently went by other names as well, Bubba Brando and Bubba Butts.
Oh.
You want the real name or are you guessing?
No,
Or
we-
it's
I think
it's
we
not-
want it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not exciting.
Sydney Morgenstern.
Adam Glasser.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And what's he
that
doing now?
tracks.
And what was the name of his reality show?
I don't.
But first?
Oh, that's good.
Thank you. But
And you called your podcast Los
Family
Feliz.
Business.
Family
Los Feliz.
Business.
That's nice.
Family Business was the name of his show. Where did it air?
Showtime.
That's better.
Yeah, a little
that makes more
racier.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, when Showtime was like, we want to get into the reality business.
Try to think of what reality shows I was super into early. I liked Project Greenlight.
Loved it.
That's classy. I liked
you.
Joe Schmo.
Oh my God. Wait, have we not
Oh.
talked about this? Because I became friends with and like very briefly dated Rhett Reese, who had created the show with Paul Wernick.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I've had him on my show.
Somebody wanted to set me up with Rhett Reese
Oh,
many
really?
years ago. Yeah.
Well, you said no?
I don't remember what I said. I think I said yes, but then it never happened.
Wait a minute. We have talked about this because Rhett, years after, he and I were in touch again when I was living in New York, but coming to LA before I moved to LA. And I went with him to that gathering at the Grove.
Oh.
And
the
you
Pete
were
Hike
there.
gathering. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did I met Rhett Reeves? Rhett
Rhett Reese.
Rhett Reese.
You know, my memory.
What does he do now, Rhett Reese?
a big
he's
screenwriter.
he
Big time.
Deadpool is his most recent thing, I think.
Oh, that's
yeah.
more jokes per second than even The Simpsons.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They did that.
That's amazing.
But oh my God, I
Good
completely
jokes.
lost my
Yeah.
train of thought. My
Rhett-
memory is talking to you at the Grove, and I don't remember Rhett standing there.
Hmm.
So I don't know where he was at that point. I don't know if you met him or not.
I don't like when other men are around.
Yeah. I think
Especially at the Grove.
I think you released a scent and then he took off.
That happens sometimes.
This has been delightful.
Delightful.
We did not get to just mirror everyone or hey, go fuck yourself. Do you have any
We
burning?
didn't get to the Vanderpump either. We'll do
oh
that
my
next time.
God, that's right. We'll do it next time.
Yeah. I mean, I think people might be pumped out, you know? I don't
Some
know.
people aren't.
Some people aren't.
some people
Your
are.
husband is not.
Oh my God,
He was like,
well-
if you have time at the end to talk to me about the mid-season trailer.
I'll come back and tell my story of having dinner with Lisa Bentley.
Yes, please.
Oh my
Next time.
God.
Yes, please. Yeah, Daniel
Tell my
has
story.
sadly been shut out of all the Vanderpumps. Daniel, I got to tell you. So you have posted about how you and Jenny Connor, who I've had on the show before.
You have?
Yeah,
love Jenny
years ago. I was extremely pregnant, and I think I did the show while sitting on like a bouncy exercise ball because I
Yeah.
could no longer sit comfortably in a seat.
Yeah.
It was. I think it might have been one of the last ones I did before having Elliot.
Oh.
But anyway, I guess you have posted about how you and Jenny Connor have ongoing discussions about Vanderpump.
all day long.
Daniel's like, there's these people who are having discussions about Vanderpump. Like, I want to be part of that.
He's welcome
he
to
wants
be a part of
of
it. Yeah,
but I
absolutely.
feel like he's gonna take it over.
That's okay. But Jenny we were constantly texting that whole weekend, and then I texted
He
her.
wants to be on your
perhaps
group chain.
The most important text of all time, which was, I'm going on a podcast tomorrow with Peter Madrigal, and she missed it. And then what happened was I posted the reel or whatever of us talking about it, and she was like, excuse me, I didn't know. And I was like, go back and read your text. And she was like, this is the biggest failure of my life, that like I didn't talk to you before you went on the podcast. So she's the best. The
Does she have-
showrunner of Girls, your favorite
Yeah.
show,
I
Girls.
do love girls.
I
Yeah.
love girls.
Wait,
Yeah.
did you know that? Or
I didn't know
you
that.
just assumed because I'm a man?
No, I don't
Oh.
know.
Yeah, I do love girls.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of people who don't like girls.
What?
That's
And did you
okay. I
see
think they're
Catherine
wrong.
Called Birdie?
No,
It's fantastic.
I'm sure
What-
she's very talented.
But why did people? I feel like people turned on her.
On Lena,
Yeah.
they did.
It's
Why?
It
complicated.
became political.
Why? Amy Schumer too, right?
Wait, have they turned on Amy
Maybe
Schumer,
not. Maybe
or
not.
Amy
Let's go
Schumer
back.
turned on Lena?
No. I meant people turned on Amy Schumer. Wait, why did people turn on Lena Dunham?
There was it was a I don't know if this was the thing, but it was a writer on Girls who I am not good friends with, but I'm friends with, was accused of rape, and they
A male writer on Girls
male
was
writer
accused of rape.
and then statutory rape, and
Ooh.
the
Oh.
Jenny and Lena I think
Stood
stood
up for-
came
yeah.
in his defense,
Oh.
and because they knew information that wasn't public about the night in question, because he had been on the writing staff during that time and came in the next day with texts and tweets and stories about the night. And so
Okay.
there was corroboration. And I think people were mad that they were defending
Oh.
this person, this writer. And then Jenny and Lena have since parted ways.
Oh, again, angrily, like.
I don't know, and I don't ask about it.
Oh, okay.
But But I don't know. I think that's such a good question. Why did people turn on Lena Dunham? I think this statutory rape accusation had something to do with it, but I think it was like a slow.
But also in her book, she do you know
That's
what
right.
do you know
About
what
her sister?
Yeah, she I haven't read her book, but I think she talks did she put a rock in her little sister's vagina or
That
something,
sounds
or looked
familiar.
at the vagina or something? She was a child herself, but so the right wing was saying that she's a pedophile,
Right.
and that really had teeth.
Yeah.
It's hard to be a liberal. I think that they get turned on real fast.
Yeah.
She made like a
there's
Was
series
it
of-
Halloween? Did the little sister walk around saying, "I got rocks in my vagina"?
Oh my God. I don't know.
That'd be a
But
good
like,
bet.
I feel like if Lena Dunham were to tweet, I don't even know if she's on Twitter anymore, but if she were to tweet something, there would be just a series of tweets talking about how she's a pedophile still.
Oh, geez.
It's like
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
You're right. It was a series of events that sort of unraveled all at the same time, but I can't remember specifically. If it was a
She was
pilot from
loudly
2002,
pro-choice
I would
as
remember
well.
it. But yeah.
So
Did her dad draw penises for a living?
I mean, he's
That
a
feels
famous
like maybe.
artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and her mom's an artist too.
I met them both real quick with her at like backstage at some show.
Wait,
Uh-huh.
when were you hanging out with her?
I wasn't. I met her.
Oh.
Well, I met her a couple times,
Oh.
but like on sets of basically.
Got it.
Some
Crumbs?
was he?
Tell me
Yeah,
it was
I
crumbs.
always-
I
I
want to
liked
know
girls.
everything.
No, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say, you know what season of a show I didn't particularly like, but I liked the whole show. But I'm going to say that off air.
Okay.
Because some people involved in that have been on my show.
Okay, quick Vanderpump
yes.
question.
Yeah. Yes.
So I had dinner with Lisa and her husband.
Hang on one second. Tony, this is
90 seconds.
V90X.
Yeah.
Start the clock.
Okay.
And
Here's my question.
Oh, yeah.
I spent a lot of time. It was just 4 people at dinner. She, your husband, this other guy, writer. The husband I found fascinating.
Ken
charming.
Todd?
Yes. Is he a big part of the show? Did we get his whole story?
Not at all.
But he's on the show.
He's on
But
the
he's not a
show.
big
But, like,
part.
do you
As a
know-
ghost.
do
He's
you-
basically a ghost.
Do you know like what he did for a living or how he got rich? Right.
I don't know any. I
thought
don't.
restaurants in
Restaurateur?
London.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're almost out of time.
No, Tony will let you know with an air horn.
He's fascinating. I could talk to that guy forever.
But how did he make
Alright.
his money?
So he was like a bound. He was okay. Have you ever seen Quadrophenia?
No.
So he was like a mod in London in the
Uh-huh.
60s, like when the riots. I think he may have even been at like the Brighton riots, and he became like a bouncer at these kind of mod clubs. And he found out that like there was he could basically take the liquor license for a few hours when like a regular restaurant or bar still had a license, and then get a club going for a few hours when they still had like they didn't need it, but he could use it. So he became like a party promoter in London, growing up with like Tony Elliott and like that
Oh.
whole crew.
Tony of Time Out New York?
Yeah. I
Oh,
think he
wow.
was part of that like whole London kind of like.
Or I mean, of Time Out London.
yeah.
Dang.
That's cool.
Yeah, but he was just like he was just like a hustler, but he was a really smart guy who grew up with no money and was kind of tough and would get in fights and like
Did they bring their dog to dinner?
they did.
Jiggy. Was it Jiggy?
I thought it was so weird. I pretended to be okay with it.
And it was at Pump, the dinner.
It was at Pump.
Okay, not sir.
And as I told you, but off mic, I had the best birthday dinner of my life at Pump in January of 2018.
What'd you get? Because he
preceded
told me to
by
get the
worst year of my life in
Oh,
2018.
related. What'd you order at Pump?
I want to say I got fish and chips.
That's solid.
I don't know though for sure.
What did he tell you to order? Once again, this is going to have to be
He told me to
V90
keep it-
180.
Told me to keep it real simple. I got.
I mean,
we got
V180.
steaks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
They were good.
You guys, this has been delightful. Rob and I have some off-air questions for you,
Yeah.
so you are not going anywhere. This has been so much fun. Thank you guys so much. I mean, I feel like you need to close it out with a high five.
Yeah, we did it.
You did it.
It hurt a
Winning
little.
team. Follow me on social media at Allison Rosen. Follow the I'm like, what do I say next? Follow the show's Twitter feed at ARIYNBF. You can call into the show and leave us a voicemail, 323-553-2331. And then I mentioned my Patreon earlier. However, Todd Perry and I also have a Patreon for our new podcast. And for that, there's just one level. It's $2 a month. And it's patreon.com/Allison and Todd. Robin, where might we find you?
On Instagram, at Robin Shore, ROBINSHORR. I don't update my grid very much, but I try to be entertaining in my stories.
You are.
My grid?
The grid, like the permanent posts, versus the Instagram stories, which go away after 24 hours.
Get down with the lingo.
Sorry.
So I didn't mean it that harshly. Okay, and what about you, Joel?
I too have a podcast called Story of the Week where we take a magazine article that you probably didn't have time to read in the New Yorker or the Atlantic that is a really crazy story, and we bring on the writer and they tell the story.
You should do the one of that philosopher who
we
left
thought
her
about
husband.
that.
Yeah, because I haven't had time to read that, but I want to read it.
Yeah, so we're doing some curation. We felt like you don't have to read that actually.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, we thought
Cool.
that was going to be the story of the week, but we read it.
It wasn't.
We read it and determined you do not need to. But
I
we
am
did
off the
do
hook.
Praz this week. Do you know about Praz? From the Fugees?
No.
Praz the Fugees is about to go to jail for decades.
For what?
It's so complicated, but basically he got involved with the Malaysian billionaire in charge of 1MBD, the national, the fund in Malaysia that went under, that was
Okay.
really corrupt. And he became friends with that dude who was showering him with $100 million or so.
The
to
dude was showering Praz.
Yeah. And DiCaprio, he funded Wolf of Wall Street and
Oh.
a bunch of other celebrities. He was like a partier guy. And he was in trouble in every country, including America. And they were after him. And so Praz had these connections to the Obama administration. So he was getting Praz to arrange meetings, but then Trump won. But then Praz found like a conservative person he knew to get him meetings with like the Trump administration, all of which, and he started meeting with the Chinese government, Praz, in order to arrange. It gets very complicated, but Praz basically starts acting as a lobbyist to help this guy without, of course, registering as a lobbyist.
Oh, so that's the crime.
Yeah, the crime is trying to influence the U.S. government for money.
Wow. That's fascinating.
Fascinating.
It
And
gets
when
really
does that
complicated.
come out?
That came out Thursday.
Okay.
Ooh.
Wonderful. I will go listen to that. And you know
It's
what?
better than the
Fuck that philosopher story.
It's better than the philosopher story. We decided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. You know what you should have done, but if you had been around,
We may have done it.
Bad Art Friend.
So for the pilot, my friend Bob Kolker from Time Out New York wrote Bad Art Friend.
Oh.
So it was before we came out, but we were practicing then. So we talked. I called Bob.
There you go.
Bad Art Friend was perfect.
I don't know this guy from Time Out New York.
Bob Kolker. He was there when I was there.
I think he wasn't there when I was there.
Yeah. He wrote that.
I was never
Cool.
there.
That you know that you wait, no, you'd remember.
Was I?
Tony, what about you?
Same old shit at Tony. I said that wrong. Twitter and Instagram at.
Tony Thaxton.
Waiting for it. Robin always there. And Bizarre Albums every Tuesday.
It's such a good podcast, Bizarre Albums.
Thank you, Robin.
It's okay.
Just speak from the heart.
Thank you guys so much. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen show?